Je vous ai dit tout à l'heure que je vous avais...
I told you earlier I had promised a surprise for you now. And so, next, I'd like to talk to you about something that happened on the 22nd of June of this year in the whole world. And it involves 22 newspapers in 22 countries, and we're going to talk about this. Christian Boisredon from Sparknews, please come forward. The agency that organized this. Christian, please come forward. And together we are going to introduce our editorialists, Lorient Lejour, Suni Joa, Times of India, the largest English-speaking world newspaper. This next one is from New York Times, and the second one, Le Soir, Mario Genoir, the Canadian The Press, and Arnaud Glarza, Mexican El Zezio, and Mourad Achid, World Algerian Time, and Lektam Utufundi, editor of The Nation Nigeria, Regine Casselin, the French Le Monde, Actu Quotidien, and Brasiliano Rosa, La Vieira, Brazil, from Sao Paulo, James Dunn, from The Nation, Kenya, Daily Nation of Kenya. And that's it. We've got everybody, all our editorialists. There are a few missing from Bazitabi Bolsha. The Texas Tribune isn't here. I mean, they're up on the board. All together, they did something together, which was akin to a miracle. And we wanted, very simply, to testify in front of you and talk about what happened. This is a testimony that is in line with what Jean-Luc Hess mentioned earlier. Journalism can contribute to change and bring about change. Journalism must open to new territories, new avenues. Christian, can you tell us, before we launch the conversation here, the origin of the project? Well, one day I thought, when I read the newspapers, I listen to the radio, I look at TV, and I feel so depressed. I don't know if you experienced this before. And then I thought, it is important to be informed on what is happening, crises. It gives us the feeling that we must do something. But what can we do? And I'd like us to talk about solutions, initiatives of women and men who stand up and speak about what we are talking about here at the Positive Forum. And why don't media talk about this more often? And then I thought, well, the journalists and editors-in-chief are the ones that should be involved first and foremost. Yes, Christian talked to me about this, and it really did the trick. And so whenever I spoke about something like that, I thought that I could react. So, Emily, what did you hear? Well, I heard, well, this type of subject, it's Boy Scout stuff. Yes, Catholic Boy Scouts, that's what we often hear. Mario? People told me that for most of journalists, a good news that gets reaction is a negative piece of news.
To read it, it's Jholawala stuff.
Alors Jholawala, c'est, je traduis parce que c'est un truc un peu particulier.
I'll translate this. It's between Babacool. It's between flower power and what should be done now.
We often hear that this is communication, this is PR, this is social washing. These are the things that corporations produce just to sell.
En effet, on entend souvent ça, mais qu'est-ce que vous racontez? Ça, c'est la communication finalement.
So this is the same thing that is repeated in English. Now, what I often hear, before I was at Le Monde, I was at Libération. And I launched what is called Libé des Solutions, Solution Libé. And, well, you're the boss, so you do it right. And I did it on the 26th of December. That's the best sale of the year. Can you imagine? So I think that it is something that sells well. Positive news do sell. So, James.
It's important that we discuss solutions, but we need time and we need good networks to deliver these stories.
Alors, justement, à quel moment...
I agree. So when should we talk about that? We decided for one number. And Christian, can you say? Yes, Christian says. What I noted was that journalists wanted to be involved and talk about this, but then where do we find this? We don't have time to find them. We're always dealing with the burning issues. We don't have the right networks. This is how the first Smart News project came about. It was a platform where we would aggregate all of the solutions, initiatives of CNN, TF1, YouTube, Shemengo, and so forth, Echo Plus TV. And so it would be subjects that journalists could draw from. Because if a journalist sees something and they can think, well, CNN is doing it, well, I could do it too. So that was a source of inspiration that we did for them. So it was done. And a lot of us started fighting to try and see how much time we needed in our newspapers, because newspapers are made up of pages.
Full pages.
We published an edition we published in our printed edition, but also on the web. In June, our website reached almost 24 million unique visitors.
Ça fait peur là, quand on entend toujours les chiffres du Brésil et de 24 millions de visiteurs uniques, c'est pas mal.
Moi, j'ai fait un numéro spécial de 16 pages.
I did a special number, 16 pages.
4 pages dans The Nation.
12 pages pour le Watan.
12 pages. We tried to participate, and we thought we could have a positive action. 12. 4 paper and 5 iPad screens. 8 pages, I have them here. In Le Soir from Belgium. Singapore Straits Times.
12-page supplement and a microsite on our website.
Et sur le Grand Times of India.
One broadsheet page, that's about 2 tabloid pages.
Mais voilà, à 6 millions d'exemplaires.
6 million copies, can you imagine? And Beirut? 8 pages in Beirut. L'Orient le Jour is the name of the newspaper. All right, I wanted to know more now. And I expect you wanted to know more too. So, why did we do this? Just because we were nice guys? Or for another reason?
The conventional mold of journalism is broken, and now in the media we have the ability to have a leverage effect, to show good examples, show that it is possible, and trigger actions, being a catalyst of all possible energies. Yes, indeed, this is our common ground. Mourad, we wanted to offer our readers the possibility of reading stories, nice stories about people doing things, and giving hopes for a better world, and making you dream. And say,
why did you join the team?
We joined Sparknews because the Times of India believes in the famous quotation of Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change that you wish to see in this world."
Soit le changement que tu veux réaliser. And Gerardo, you told us why you participated to this project.
I believe the good news is news.
Ça a l'air de rien, mais c'est assez difficile à faire passer dans certaines rédactions. Les bonnes nouvelles, c'est aussi des nouvelles. N'ayez pas peur. Et moi, j'ai rejoint...
Okay, good news are news. And I joined the project because Christian and myself, we were in a symposium, and we were with people with the Times of India, and they launched the operation Love Pakistan. Love Pakistan and Love Pakistanis in an Indian newspaper. That's and when a journal, the newspaper like Times of India does that, this is quite tough to change a mindset. This is impactful. And at my modest level in Le Monde, I wanted to write on 8 pages. I wanted to talk about positive news. Christian, let's give concrete examples. But before giving concrete examples, we contacted 22 newspapers to start with, and we said we're going to do co-creation. We're going to pool the content. So we suggested about 20 topics. We hired a former editor-in-chief of the New York Times and France 24. We listed topics. We shared those topics with the 22 papers. Each paper supplied us with 2 or 3 articles. We pulled all those articles, and then each journalist made an additional edition. Let me give you some examples. Here at LHFORUM, you've heard a lot of positive examples. 3 examples. An African company said we have to fight against the fact that drugs are counterfeited, and this has a huge impact on health. So they invented a scratch code on drug medicines. You send the code by text message, and you know if the drug is right or not. The second example is a German oncologist detecting the breast cancer in touching the breast, and they could detect tumors of 1 centimeter minimum. And this oncologist said, well, some people have a sense of touch much more sophisticated than us, the blind people. And the blind people now are being trained because they are able to detect this tumor half the size. So it is not as costly for Social Security because a physician costs some money, and it gives the blind people a very good job. So this type of story was written in the newspaper, and this example should be a source of inspiration. And by the way, this physician was contacted by other countries. So that's a very good example. So you see the 3 examples here. Another example, a very amazing one. A Dutch person realized that a lot of people didn't have glasses because of there was no eye doctor in Africa and India. So he said, let's invent a pair of glasses, but which would be suitable to 90% of you. How does it work? You have 2 lenses upon each other, universal glasses. The patent was in the public domain, but no one used it. And this example, which we discovered thanks to Chamengo, well, we wrote an article about it, and it was taken over by most papers, among which the Straits Times.
As part of our supplement, you can see it here. And one of our readers happened to be the wife of a top executive of Essilor, which makes glasses and lenses. And she showed it to him thinking he'd be interested. And he was fascinated by the story and decided to get in touch with the folks at Sparknews to be in part of the project. And they've arranged a meeting for him in Amsterdam next month to try and see how they can work together and scale up the project. And hopefully it will not just reach thousands of people, but tens of thousands of people, if not millions. So that to me is what impact journalism is all about. It's about giving people information and ideas and inspiring them to step up and help to make a difference. So I'm really happy we were part of this project.
Thank you, Warren. Oui, c'est tout à fait ça, puisque c'est le triptyque.
Thank you, Warren. Yes, this is exactly that. It's a triangle between the journalist, the reader, and the stakeholders in the economic world, and all this in a positive way. So we have been gathered, and we even decided to organize a seminar yesterday because we were. It's the first time for us to meet all together. We were invited organized by the LHFORUM. This is the first time for us to meet here physically because we worked through the internet. And yesterday we worked on what's going to happen. What's going to happen, Christian? Now, we had a debriefing session. Yesterday we said, okay, you are doing this, I am doing that. That's interesting. There are the 22 of us. Next year there might be 50 different countries that will need a wider, broader stage. Let's add radios and TV for each country, for instance, plus the newspaper. And we have a lot of ambitions because we understood how it works. And often the editors-in-chief say, we dreamed of that, but we needed someone to coordinate that. We developed this experience with Sparknews, and we can scale it up, as we say, and maybe have a bigger impact with several million people seeing 8 pages of solutions worldwide, and that's very good for the future of journalism. What about women here? There were women, but they could not come here today, unfortunately. But women, of course, are welcome. Welcome. Yes, you agree. You have a majority of men here among editors-in-chief, but it's not a problem of positive economics. Well, we wanted to share with you. Our enthusiasm. We wanted to tell you that what we've been doing this year, we want to do that throughout the year, not only on the day of impact journalism, and we need everyone for that, and we need you, the readers, and the change makers. So we all need you. Please join us. Join us.
Merci à tous.
Thank you. Thank you.